Welcome, everyone. My name is Carrie Johnson, and I am a paralegal student, and welcome to my channel. Today, it is June 8th, 2025, and I would like to briefly go over California Business and Professions Code 6400. Before I do, let's go over a few housekeeping items that I have mentioned before in a previous video. What I am not permitted to do as a paralegal student. Under California Business and Professions Code 6450B 1 through 8, not all of them will be listed here, but the first three are very important for you as a viewer or you as a California resident or a California pro se litigant that is looking to seek certain services that I'm going to discuss. As a paralegal student, I cannot provide legal advice. I cannot represent a client in court, select, explain, draft, or recommend the use of any legal document to or for any person other than the attorney who directs and supervises the paralegal. So, what I feel is appropriate feedback to leave in the comments section of this video. You can comment on my public speaking skills, presentation skills. You can even butcher my work attire in this presentation. But I just want to, introduce myself. I started my undergraduate studies at Riverside City College with a declared major in paralegal studies. And since then, I've been a returning student. I'm just finishing up the spring semester this week. But I want to just kind of briefly discuss and remind you, as well as other licensed attorneys who do not practice in the state of California but are representing themselves, to remind you about the terms that you should be familiar with under the California Business and Professions Code 6400. Section 6400 A and C define what an unlawful detainer assistant means, as well as legal document assistant. So what is an unlawful detainer assistant? Any individual who, for compensation, renders assistance or advice in the prosecution or defense of an unlawful detainer claim or action, including any bankruptcy petition that may affect the unlawful detainer claim or action as defined under California Business and Professions Code 6400A. Legal document assistant. They have them all over throughout the state of California. And they have to be registered in the county in which they intend on conducting business. But here is what legal document assistant means. Any person who is not exempted under Section 6401 and who provides or assists in providing or offers to provide or offers to assist in providing for compensation any self-help service to a member of the public who is representing themselves in a legal matter, or who holds themselves out as someone who offers that service or has that authority. So, if you are a California resident and you are representing yourself in a legal matter, you may seek out a legal document assistant or an unlawful detainer assistant for the preparing of legal documents. So this is a video for you. Continued what the second definition, a continuation of what a legal document assistant means. A corporation, partnership, association, or other entity that employs or contracts with any person not exempted under Section 6401 who, as part of their responsibilities, provides or assists in providing or offers to provide or offers to assist in providing for compensation any self-help service to a member of the public who is representing themselves in a legal matter or holds themselves out as someone who offers that service or has that authority. For those pro se litigants, whether you are a California resident or you are someone who is in another state but has a matter that they need to take care of in the state of California, the requirements for an unlawful detainer assistant and legal document assistant are slightly different. I don't think that there is a paralegal certificate required for an unlawful detainer assistant application with the clerk recorder's office. So you may have to check with whatever county in which you are seeking to get assistance with. But unlawful detainer assistants, their requirements is to be registered with the clerk recorder's office and bonded in the county in which they intend on conducting business. So for you who are looking to retain their services, just be selective and proceed with caution. Ask questions. Uh, there may or may not be a whole lot of information on the person who is registered and bonded at the clerk recorder's office about their education, training, and work experience. But for a legal document assistant, I know that a paralegal certificate is required with that application to be furnished at the clerk recorder's office in the county in which he or she intends on conducting business. So you would be all good there if you intend on using a legal document assistant in the state of California, that paralegal certificate from either an ABA approved paralegal program or an accredited paralegal program. That paralegal certificate should be on file at the clerk recorder's office. So, Section 6450 mentions education, training, and work experience is needed. They deem a legal document assistant qualified through education, training, and work experience. As for my education experience, it's already there. I provided on my personal blog PDF files of my academic transcripts so that those of the general public, you get a chance to see, hey, I've got some good grades and I've got some bad grades. And I noticed that there are a number of people who pride themselves on being honor roll students, but I've encountered people who have people who are honor roll students that don't speak clear English in the city of Boston. So, and I'm dead serious. Some of them are in the healthcare field that don't speak clear English, that are that it's sort of questionable about their grades and what their credentials. But as for my education, I've attended both ABA and non-ABA paralegal programs. So I am wrapping up. I'm done. I have 2 more courses to take towards my paralegal certificate and associate's degree in paralegal studies over at RCC. And that's English and math. As for my training, now, clearly someone in the state of California did not believe what was on my academic transcripts. And I was a vulnerable job seeker living up under my mother's roof. And on my academic transcripts, it clearly shows that I used to be a teacher's assistant at Redlands East Valley High School, as well as an office assistant to the principal's office at Redlands East Valley High School. That's on my academic transcripts. Apparently that wasn't enough, that someone did not believe what was on my resume. But those 2 non-paid positions while being a high school student eventually led to a paid position. at RCC that I thought was a student of a federal work study position, but it turned out to be a position for this actual school district. And then from that RCC position, as a reading tutor for Professor Victor Sandoval's class, I eventually went into corporate call center positions for both American Career College, West Coast University, and Corinthian colleges that got shut down by the Attorney General's office. So I don't make fake W-2s. I don't make fake pay stubs, and I can defend myself from the IRS. So the licensed attorneys that had my name in your mouth and was discrediting me with your gossip, I will be filing state bar complaints. So, but my education is already there, and my blog, the PDF files are attached to the highlighted words in the education portion of one of my blog posts. For training, I've been tested for, I've done assessments through staffing agencies on those positions for call center that utilize these very same Microsoft Office software applications that the National Society for Legal Technology is teaching. And it's self-paced. You can do it on your own time. And I remember being a job applicant, and then I receive a job, and they say we do on-the-job training on here. On-the-job training, which really means bare minimum training that we're going to give you as a supervisor or a manager, and we're going to just learn as we go. That on-the-job training. So, as a call center agent for American Career College, the software, Microsoft Office software programs that I was tested on through Volt Workforce Solutions, I either did probably average or below average. So this is where it's beneficial to have this type of training for an individual's employment defense if they need to file complaints with the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination, that you will have this proof to show that, hey, I have been trained on legal software technology as well as other software programs that are used in an everyday business. So I've acquired my legal technology software certificate. I am in process with completing the legal research certificate, and then I've received my discovery practice certificate from the Electronic Discovery Institute in Washington, D.C. That also is another institution that offers some form of self-paced training in electronic discovery. So I've already got that certificate hanging up. So again, I'm just waiting on my associate's degree in paralegal studies diploma to be put in the frame. But the training is there. And even before National Society for Legal Technology, I took legal research and computer applications course. That also there is training on those same Microsoft Office computer applications that are used in an office setting at RCC, which is accredited but not ABA approved. And then I took the same course again and got another A in the exact same course from Coastline College under a California judge and attorney and college professor, Bryce Letterman. So the training is already there. And that's also on my blog as well. I've written some I've done some blog posts to demonstrate my level of writing skills on my paralegal student side earnings, that you will see my discovery practice certificate right there under the post. As for work experience, which I will clearly explain in state bar complaints, verifiable proof of work experience on my resume within a law office setting comes from Miles, Bauer, Bertram, and Winters LLP that provided a termination letter and W-2 wages. I worked for them for less than 2 weeks, and they at least were adult enough to put in writing why I was terminated, and also filed my very small wages earned with the IRS. So that is there. I have proof of the W-2. Now, my filing status, that is something that, again, I will address with the IRS for what was listed for my filing status, that I needed the least amount of taxes taken out of my paycheck that I can explain, that I don't need an attorney for. The real question would be, who is it that's trying to find out about my personal taxes? That would be trying to, use it or as some form of, who knows? But, anyway, I just want to say that, this law firm was the last law firm that I worked for in 2012, and I have not stepped foot in a law office since. And they did the right thing in putting in writing why I was terminated. This also on my blog. So I think it should apply to UDAs, but I think that their requirements are, there's fewer requirements that they need to submit with their unlawful detainer assistant application with the clerk recorder's office, depending on which county in which they intend on conducting business, that they may not need a paralegal certificate. A high school diploma is sufficient. I also had some regional occupational program courses that I took that are on my academic transcripts, but then there were some that were left off that I completely forgot about. But I do remember the last name of the instructor, that it does ring a bell. It's just, it was so long ago. High school was so long ago for me. And I really did forget about some of those courses that were not listed on my academic transcripts. And I have no clue why they weren't there in the first place. That I have those transcripts as well on my personal blog. So just be selective if you are a pro se litigant and you are looking to retain either a unlawful detainer assistant or a legal document assistant. My suggestion for those who are UDAs or LDAs, to strengthen the credibility as a UDA or LDA, you can create a blog or website that shows proof of your education, training, and work experience. Be honest, and members of the public will use your services. Do not lie about your work experience, as so many professionals are getting checked for their work experience. Do not lie about the time frame in which you worked for an employer or company. Lies only discredit your abilities to provide the self-help services needed. Is there a need for UDAs or LDAs? My thoughts? Yeah. There are many. There's too many licensed attorneys with no verifiable proof of experience representing certain racial demographics, protected classes, or different genders. There is room for everyone. If people didn't have much knowledge about me outside of my resume, because I didn't have a blog up, and I just recently started doing blog posts, and things happened the way that they did. And it was a reason for that, because of you get to see what someone sees in some. You get to see what people see in someone's daughter when they're just looking at a picture versus they're what is the appropriate thing that they should have been looking at as a potential employer. If in the state of California, you might have saw my resume pop up somewhere and my picture was not there, but you do a Google search when you really didn't have any business doing Google searches, that things happen for the way that they did. And 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 uh, and I'm okay with that. So, but I think there is room for everybody, especially when I say that I refuse have reserve the right to refuse service to certain demographics. I'm going to stand firm on that, and I have the ability to defend myself as to why that certain LDAs or UDAs, you can absolutely help certain people that need your services. What does self-help services mean? So, number one, completing legal documents in a ministerial manner selected by a person who is representing themselves in a legal matter, by typing or otherwise completing the documents at the person's specific direction. Number two, providing general published factual information that has been written or approved by an attorney pertaining to legal procedures, rights, or obligations to a person who is representing themselves in a legal matter to assist the person representing themselves. Number three, making published legal documents available to a person who is representing themselves in a legal matter. Number four, filing and serving legal forms and documents at the specific direction of a person who is representing themselves in a legal matter. Some terms that you need to be aware of as members of the public when selecting an UDA or an LDA. Unlawful detainer claim means a proceeding, filing, or action affecting rights or liabilities of any person that arises under Chapter 4, commencing with Section 1159 of Title 3 of Part 3 of the Code of Civil Procedure, and that contemplates an adjudication by a court. Compensation means money, property, or anything else of value. Additional information that you should be aware of under Section 6400 are as follows. Section 6400F. LDAs employed by a partnership or corporation cannot provide any self-help service for compensation unless he or she is registered as a legal document assistant pursuant to Section 6402. Section 6400G. LDAs cannot provide any kind of advice, explanation, opinion, or recommendation to a consumer about possible legal rights, remedies, defenses, options, selection of forms, or strategies. A legal document assistant shall complete documents only in the manner prescribed by paragraph 1 of subdivision D. So, you got a question? I may have an answer for you. You can leave your questions or feedback in the comments section of this video, and I thank you for watching. My citation from where I am drawing my information from is from the California Code of Business and Professions Code 6400 that is cited here. And this is me. I'm your presenter. I'm also the founder and sole managing owner of Innovative Legal, a company that I started back in California while I was still in college. On my personal blog, I have written about my previous work experience in the education sector, my volunteer work experience and contributions towards clinical research as a former call center agent for both American Career College and Corinthian colleges located in Orange County, California. All highlighted words are PDF files that assist governing authority figures on my state and federal procedural complaints that will be filed by myself or sent via email. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon.